Not checking in on ourselves is not taking responsibility over our lives and our happiness. Not checking in on ourselves does require a lot of energy. Not tuning into ourselves and saying that we have to take it later or we don't have time for it. All these type of excuses for not tuning into ourselves is affecting our well-being, is affecting how we feel about ourselves and our lives, is affecting how authentically we live, is affecting how we feel meaning, how it's affecting actually the connection with our purpose and knowing what we are purposed on this earth in this time here to do or be, right? So tuning in with ourselves has been something on the wall for a long time now, and that is definitely something that is a way of following soul. And I know that when we are tuning into ourselves at a new level or in a different way that we haven't done from before, we can sometimes ask ourselves these questions of that: how do I know that I'm connected? How do I know that I'm tuned in? How does that feel? How do I know that I'm connected to my higher self? And the question is that you're always connected, but you can be more or less conscious about that. So something that I did a lot in the beginning when I was waking up to the understanding of that, okay, I'm actually don't feel that I am connecting that much with myself. I'm not tuning in with myself. That is not like the greatest priority, the biggest priority in my days. And I was blaming myself for not doing it. So because I felt how important it was and I felt how it really helped me. So then when I became more and more aware, I also started to blame myself. Like, why don't I feel connected right now? Why am I not connected? So actually, if you are feeling those feelings, or if you're questioning that, if you're asking yourself that, I would say that you are actually very in tuned. You are actually very connected to self, because or else you wouldn't have been asking those questions from the beginning. So today we're going to create higher and lower self pages together. I'm going to get into exactly what it is that I mean with it, what it is about. But higher and lower self pages is definitely about kind of pick me up to yourself, those days when you feel those feelings of that I don't feel connected, I don't feel tuned in, why do I not feel like that? And then it's like great to have it. It's like a great in your spiritual toolbox to keep a higher and lower self pages. And this is what I created for myself during a time when I was very much awakened to that, okay, my professional life I'm not proud with my professional life, so to say. And I was at that point also finding out that I really didn't want to do tarot card readings. I wanted to coach people, and yeah, I just had like all these kind of dreams up and running, and it was very new and fresh to me. So during that point when I decided for like, yeah, you know what, I will actually transition from my profession in corporate to starting my own business, those days was heavy for me. They were really, really heavy for me, because every single day I went to a job knowing that this doesn't feel aligned with me, knowing that I could do something else and feel so much more fulfilled, so much more just in my abilities, in my talents, in my skills, and feeling that seen for truly who I am. And that was something that was like on a daily basis hurting me in one way or another. I felt that I was hurting myself, and I felt that every single day that I go to this job, I feel that it is a threat almost towards my purpose. That is how I felt. Of course, that I needed to work through those feelings and emotions. And if you have been following on my YouTube, I sometimes mention that I really needed to let go of resistance in regards to that job in order for me to take the leap into my business. And I can totally have an episode of that another time if you want me to talk a little bit more about resistance. But that was the situation I was in. And for me, at that same point, I was also very much awake to, or very much like conscious about that my vibration is actually not aligned to my true frequency. Like how I vibrate right now, what my vibration is, it doesn't feel like linear. it doesn't feel like the true Linnea. The true Linnea is not this low vibrational being. So I did a lot of growth during that point as well, in raising my vibrations and finding out how that I can have a higher frequency throughout my days, no matter what type of situations I was in. And I also knew that I needed to shift my frequency in order for me to align, in order for me to be a matching vibration to what it is that I wanted to attract into my life. So I had all those type of understandings. So every single day when I went to that job and felt that my vibration got lower and lower and lower, I also blamed myself. Linnea, you know better. You know better. You know that you have to raise your vibration. You know that you need to be a match to your desires. You know that. I put a lot of pressure on myself. And that was not helpful at first, but also it was a really, really hard time. It was a really hard time. I felt that I had so many emotions within, and I hold on to so much. I carried so much on my shoulders at that point. And what I just wanted to be was just to be the light, happy, fulfilled person that I am. That I know that my soul really knows how to be like, right? So that is a little bit short background story. So if you are at the point where you maybe are transitioning between jobs, or you maybe are transitioning between situations or relationships or something where you feel that this is more heavy to me than it is uplifting, this is taking more energy from me than is actually given, or you are in a moment where you are focusing on raising your vibration, you are focusing on getting into that type of frequencies that you want to get into, first and foremost, don't add pressure on yourself. Be kind to yourself, okay? Make sure that you are adding as little pressure onto yourself as you can. Really boost yourself. Don't do like I did, okay? Really boost yourself and tell to yourself that, you know what, since I have these questions, you know what, since I am going through this transitioning, I'm so aware, and it's going to be a change, because or else I wouldn't even been sitting here listening to this podcast, or figuring out or asking myself questions how it is that I can raise my vibration, how it is that I can connect to my higher self, how it is that I can connect to and tune in to me, right? You wouldn't have been here, right? We wouldn't have had this conversation if that wasn't so. So give yourself that compassion, okay? So what I did at that time, I remember it so clearly. It was one day I couldn't lift, like, I'm really like this. If I don't feel motivated, if I don't feel inspired, I can't move. My body starts to, like, I can't move. I can't do anything. And I know for others, it's like, oh, it's just like push yourself a little bit, motivate yourself a little bit. But for me, that just makes it worse, actually. That just makes it worse. So motivating myself and telling to myself that, you know what, hey, you only have a couple of hours left, or hey, this is good with this job, or hey, when I really want to leave, I have little energy left for that kind of place, or I have little space left for it. And before, since I wasn't like listening so much to myself, and wasn't like living a life of resonance that much, I also understood that, okay, this is quite far away from the kind of lifestyle, the kind of job, the kind of life that I want to live. So waking up to that suddenly one day, or not suddenly, but you understand what I mean, is like poof. Okay, it's so different from where you want to be. It's so different from how you want to operate, and how you want to show up every single day to the world. So of course it feels difficult to motivate yourself to go to that job, and you can totally shift job directly. I wasn't in that state. I would say I wasn't in that belief system that I did it at that point, okay? I felt that, okay, I have a couple of things that I need to go through. I have to understand on a couple of things within me. I have to change a couple of beliefs within myself in order for me to make this change. And I could have other type of beliefs, but those were the beliefs I had that point. Anyhow, so I was sitting one day at job, I think it was like 11 o'clock in the morning. I remember this so strongly. I was like, okay, am I hungry yet? Because I want to go for lunch or something, because I don't want to do this shit any longer. And then I felt like, okay, you know what? it takes more on me. I feel so much lowered every single day. The more that I resist this job, the more that I resist the task, the more I resist the people that are at this job, because I was really like having this kind of repelling aura. I really repelled everything because I was so done with that situation. But I realized that that doesn't help me. That doesn't help me to remove myself from that situation. So right now I'm actually a vibrational match towards that situation more than I want to be. And so I did what I just usually do. I tuned in, I talked with my higher self and said like, hey, you know what? I need a certain type of idea. I need one idea. I need some certain type of help that can help me through this transition so that I feel a little bit better at work. So I don't feel so lowered down and feel that I'm just like adding all this energy into this situation that I want to get out of from, right? And then I got the download of creating lower and higher self pages. So let's get into it. So this is a higher and lower self check. This is a check where you can check in on yourself when you want to tune in more and see, where am I at right now? What's my frequency at this point? Where is my vibe temperature at? How am I mooding myself into different type of frequencies? So this is so great. I love this one, and I used it for a very long time. Nowadays I don't use it that much. I use it when I kind of want a new type of transitioning. But for that moment, I needed it to, I used it on a daily basis. I had a look on it on a daily basis because that was also how I repeated the process, and how I repeated and practiced over and over and over what type of vibration that I truly wanted to be in and that I truly wanted to tune into. Before we're creating these higher pages, I want to mention one more thing. This is also a really great tool that you can use when you feel that you are in autopilot mode. Many of us can sometimes feel that we are running through life, maybe too, but we are running through life, and that we are on a certain type of autopilot. We're not like thinking things through. We're rushing through life, and we want to slow down a little bit. But when in autopilot mode, it's everything goes so fast. So we need something fast as well. It's almost as we are not at that point understanding the slower energies or understanding certain type of things that is more about being, because we are so much in our doing. And we're so much in just keep on going, keep on going, keep on going. So that's why having these type of lower self pages and higher self pages is so great, because you literally have it in your phone, or you have it in a notebook or something that you always carry with you. And if you can just get that type of thought that, okay, should I tune in with myself a little bit? Should I check? Then you already have prepared the work for yourself. You have already done the groundwork for yourself. And that is exactly what the brain needs and wants when in autopilot mode. If your brain has to do something, or if your brain has to tune in by itself, like actually putting in certain type of like doing something in regards to that is what I'm trying to say, then you will like most likely not doing it. You will most likely just continue because you're saying like, hey, I don't have the time right now. I have to read this email, or I have to continue the day, or, you know, I'm about to prepare for this thing, or whatever it might be. Like your brain, because you're so much in your brain, it will reasoning itself out of tuning in. So when you have certain like a list, you're also still in one way or another helping your brain out, and you're one way or another like tricking your brain, I would say. You are providing your brain with the information it needs in order for it to tune in. So let's go into it. So you can either pause when you're doing this, or just write down the journaling prompts for now, and you can take it a little bit later. You choose yourself. Be honest to yourself when you will most likely do it, if you do it now or if you do it later. Anyhow, on one page, I want you to first and foremost write down your lower vibrations. And why we start with this one is because many times in journaling practices in itself, we kind of need to get out the heavier emotions, the emotions that is trying to pull us down and stuff like that. So it's almost as we're just like pouring everything out. And most of the time when we're doing these type of sessions, we're already in a state of resentment, or we are in a state of resistance in one way or another, and so forth. So going on to the higher self pages already might be a little bit too much for your emotions and your mind to grasp. Okay, so we start first and foremost with typing down the lower self pages. And on this page, I want you to type lower self or whatever, and I want you to tune into that frequency. Like when you feel at your lowest, when you feel low in energy, when you feel depleted, when you feel that, okay, I'm not proud of this moment, this is not a proud moment of how I behaved or what I thought or what I did, right? When you feel that you are having a certain type of attitude that you're not proud of either, or that you feel a little bit embarrassed about, or whatever it might be, like write down all these emotions that you perceive as in one way or another negative, or you perceive as one way or another like lowering your vibration. It holds you down in a sense that it feels heavy, or in a sense that it feels overwhelming. And also something that can help you if you have a little bit difficulties in understanding what those frequencies and vibrations are is that you can go back to your week and to different type of scenarios and write down what you were thinking, write down what you were feeling, write down, let's say if you had a kind of a heated discussion or a discussion that didn't feel so great, what type of vibe were you in, what feelings did you have, what were you thinking when you're having that, or when you were frustrated, or something like that. Like go back to this scenario and really tune in and feel into that situation, how that felt and what type of vibe that you had in regards to that. And as an additional thing for some of you that maybe need to get out the juices, so to say, get it out, you can just start to free write as well. Start to free write and just like, okay, this day sucked because I was feeling like this and this happened, and like go through everything, and don't think about how you speak about it. Don't think about how you like what that means or tells about you or anything like that. Like be truly honest with yourself and write it down, and then you can go back to those pages and see that, okay, I was having these thoughts, I've had these emotions and so forth. But if you feel that you don't need that, if you feel that you have your answers directly, you can also just write it down with a couple of words like overwhelm, I feel frustrated, I feel that I'm actually going down on the same level as another person, that I don't feel that that is a great behavior to have. I maybe feel that I have to please someone, or I maybe feel that I'm shaming myself for something, or so write down the different type of feelings that you have in regards to that. What is your vibe? Is your vibe fearful? Is your vibe anxious? Is your vibe more so like overthinking and you're really up in your mind, or you're scattered? What is it? What are you prone to? What do you tend to lean into, so to say? And then when you're done with that, we're going to take another page, and on that page, we're going to write down a higher self list. So do the same as well. Here you can, if you want to free write first, you can write out like thinking back to the day you had, or another day was really fun. Like today was so fun. I was in this mode and I was thinking like this, and go through and just going into those vibrations. Or if you feel that you're quite aware of what that is, just write words once again. So that can be like appreciative, harmonious, curious, adventurous, excited, inspired, loving, caring, nurturing, fun, weird. It can be whatever, right? Just write down whatever you feel that, okay, these type of frequencies are my frequencies, and I really feel good when I'm at those frequencies. And when you're done with that, you literally have your list, and you can start to use that list. So every time that you have a day or you have a moment where you feel that, okay, I don't like to be here. Like, I'm sitting at this job. I don't want to be here at all. I want to leave this shit. I know better now. I feel that this person who talked to me really like, oh, such a bad vibe. Why did I have that type of vibe, you know, when you're feeling that your energy goes lower and lower and lower? And grab those pages then and have a look. Okay, what is my vibe at? How is my vibe check at? Okay, well, judging other people I had on my lower self pages. Is that what I do right now? Yeah, actually. Okay, what else do I see? Feeling that I can control my situation. Well, great. Okay. No wonder that I feel low in vibe. No wonder that I don't feel so great today because I actually are carrying these vibration right now. Okay. So on my higher self pages, what is it that I've been writing there? I've been writing loving, caring, understanding for others. Am I that in this situation? No, actually not. Okay, great. So, what is it that I need to do if I want to feel higher in vibration, if I want to raise my vibration? Well, tap in and tune into those vibrations. So, okay, what can I do today to feel more loving? What can I do today to feel more caring? What can I do today to feel more open? Okay, I can talk to this colleague and really just listen to what that colleague has to say, and being open to everything what comes through in that conversation. Or I can take extra care of myself at work. Is there something that I can do that I feel like, oh, I'm taken care of today? What is that then? Right? So use these pages to raise your vibration. Use these pages to, when you feel that, okay, I'm in low vibration, I feel resistant to changing my vibe, changing my mode, then I can just easily shift because I already have a list prepared for me. These pages are also giving this extra additional value of that you are practicing to catch yourself in moments as well. I know that I get those questions quite often actually, and people compliment me for that I'm very good at catching myself in the moment. And that's because I've been practicing it. I've been having these type of practices in order for me to start to learn and understand how it is that I can catch myself. So this is literally a frequency map. You have created a frequency map for yourself to tap into whenever you need that extra pick-me-up in your days. So I hope that this episode was helpful for you and that you are able to use these pages in moments, situations when you feel that you want to tap into another type of vibe, but you maybe feel that it is a little bit difficult. So then you have your pick-me-up pages for yourself that to take your temperature of your frequency, to also guide yourself through with a frequency map, so to say, and check in on, okay, what type of vibrations do I have right now, and what type of vibrations do I resonate with, what type of vibrations do I actually want to have at this point.